history has shown, times where trade to China has been shut down, this industry is dead. The demand as income levels rise in Asia is really coming from there. So to help farmers in central Wisconsin, the best thing we can have is access to those export markets.
Will Su is a second-generation ginseng producer near Wausau, Wisconsin. According to USDA, over 95% of the plant's domestic cultivated origin is sprinkled across the Badger State, with Marathon County as the hub. Wisconsin officials estimate 1 million raw pounds are produced there annually, with a yearly output valued at over $50 million. But 15% retaliatory tariffs from President Trump's trade war with China have been tacked onto pre-existing duties and value-added taxes ahead of this year's harvest. The move could leave growers feeling a pinch on an export-dependent, multi-year premium crop.
Very similar to France and Italy, which are known as the Old World regions for growing wine. That taste and flavor of Wisconsin ginseng has been ingrained in people for the last 100 years.
Over-harvested in China after use as a panacea for millennia, a cousin root was unearthed in North America 3 centuries ago.
You don't always find 4 prongs.
Around the dawn of the 20th century, the wild root moved from forest to farm in Wisconsin, cementing trade partnerships in Asia and earning a gold standard reputation.
Well, I'm the farmer, he's the brain, so work out as a team is very good. Each nut is 1 year old.
Originally from Taiwan, Will's father, Paul Su, founded the core of the family business over 40 years ago after discovering unmet demand for the niche product in Asian American communities. Enduring production challenges, including 5 years from seed to harvest, and the need to secure new land for each crop because the root can never be grown twice in the same location, the Sus bought into the supply chain. Their enterprise now includes several hundred acres under production and nearly 1,000 employees across the globe.
Chinese real warm, it's hot, yang, and American ginseng in. So there's the 2 different functions, 2 species.
Traditionally used in Asian cooking and medicine, American ginseng has even drawn accolades from the Mayo Clinic, where a 2012 study revealed high doses can curb fatigue among cancer patients in chemotherapy. And while farmed root has averaged $30 to $55 per pound, wild ginseng commands a much higher price.
Depending on what location, how good they are, $500, $600, $700 a pound.
The older the root, the more ginsenosides, active compounds within the plant that impart its elixir-like prestige, the higher the price. By state law, the original wild woods-grown ginseng must be at least 10 years old before being extracted for sale. Private landowners like the Sus recognize the importance of conservation and have developed their own wild simulated strain as part of the state's multi-pronged approach to viability.
So this is kind of that in-between space, not quite wild, not quite farm-raised, that you see a lot of agriculture moving into. You can take any patch of woods if you take care of it and do a good job of it and turn it into this. And in the wild, some of the best roots are, 15 to 30 years old.
Paul Su says he's been paying diggers top dollar for over 3 decades to break the soil at certain times and only for certain root sizes.
Very, very seldom you have 60-year-old roots, maybe 1 in 100 to 1,000.
Over the years, the Sus have worked to vertically integrate and navigate volatile market waters. But for smaller producers laboring with razor-thin margins, staring down the barrel of a trade war can trigger a battle with anxiety.
85% of our market is China. So yeah, it's tied in, it's hardwired.
Bob Kaldunsky heads up the state's Ginseng Board, a quasi-governmental promotion group of active producers funded through shade assessment, a tax on the farm structures that help mimic woods-like conditions for the fickle herb. Despite strong demand, Kaldunsky says the number of ginseng growers in Wisconsin has declined over the past 20 years, from over 1,000 to nearly 180.
There's 5 producers that produce about 75% of the crop. And the balance then, that's about 175, produce the other 25%.
As ginseng growers weigh whether or not to plant, harvest, or rent, some fear ongoing trade tensions could lead buyers to cheaper sources in Asia and Canada.
It's going to be very hard for them to do that. We're putting a lot of safeguards in. And
Trump's announced $12 billion aid program for farmers affected by tariffs doesn't sit well with producers like Will Su,
especially for something that's so valuable. If you're in a rush,
who say for the long term, free trade is the right model. Value-added products, infusing ginseng into all kinds of food and drink combinations, which are taxed and treated differently, could be one future path for the industry. There are no forward contracts or futures markets for ginseng, and Su says within the last year, returns have neared the cost of production.
Family farmers are the backbone of America.
So as he and other growers adapt to new rules brought on by the White House, all must assess how long farmers who export 90% of their crop to China can weather the political storm. For Market to Market, I'm Josh Buettner.